Welcome everyone to day 9 of our Advent calendar, the 9th of December. I hope you are all in the festive spirit, and if not, maybe this little illustration will help. So what's behind the door today? A candy cane wrapped in a lovely festive bow. Grab your paints and let's get started. So we've got a pretty classic Christmas treat here today, a candy cane, and if you've not drawn one before, essentially you could do a parallel line with a ruler if you wanted, but I bet you can have a go and get it right. What we're going to do is do a nice bow around it, so I've got a little band of the bow, and then to draw that out I'm going to draw a sort of soft-edged triangle that doesn't quite meet back its triangle, and then some loops and some nice bows like that, and that is going to be all we need for the pencil. And just a quick rub out, you know the drill now. I hope you're really enjoying this Advent calendar. I am really loving it. Right, let's get the hardest working colour in our palette around Christmas, Cadmium Red, all woken up, and we are going to get painting. Now, if you wanted, you could draw in the stripes, but I'm feeling brave, so I'm going to start up here just where it starts to go straight down, and I'm going to have a slight curve on my diagonal stripe. Now again, as a left-hander, I'm aware that this might be the opposite sort of diagonal way that you might want to go, so it's down to you really. I'm just using a small brush with a nice point to make sure I've got nice control. Now it can get a bit trickier as we go around the corner, so I start there and that's sort of coming round as expected, but it's going to sort of come up a little bit. I'm going to fan up and out. So I think the easiest thing is to start with the bottom half of the stripe and then have the other side coming more sort of across rather than down. Until you get back on the straight and narrow around the corner. And now I'm going to mix up some Sap Green, just a really classic colour combination here, and I'm going to use my size 0 brush. Then I'm going to paint in this bow a fairly sort of dilute green, and I will leave 1 or 2 sort of bits of unpainted space just coming out from the centre of that bow to give a bit of a shine on the ribbon, but we're also going to be painting a layer of more concentrated sap green as well once that layer is dried. I'm also leaving the sort of loop unpainted currently. Okay, we just need that all to dry and then we can add some detail. Not too long to wait to dry on this paper, which is the beauty of it. Okay, so now with some more concentrated sap green, in we come to just edge our lovely glossy ribbon and a little bit sort of on that side as well. It's funny, I just reminded in painting this that when I was younger I loved to draw. Drawing was more my thing than like any kind of colouring in or painting, but I would draw so many bows. I loved the shape of them, and I just am so comforted by the fact that I'm now doing this for a job. It's really cool. Anyway, so I'm going to just edge the ribbon in the middle there. You just get a feel for it. I'm just sort of looking for places where I think there might be a little bit of shadow, or if we just want to sort of neaten up an edge like that there, it seems to work. And then for the red, what I do want to do is I want to get a tiny bit of shadow first, just down one side of the candy cane, down the shady side. So I'm mixing up some Payne's grey and some burnt sienna. For those of you who are really consistent people, unlike me, you will notice that sometimes I use Payne's grey, sometimes I use French ultramarine blue. It tends to be how the mood takes me. There's not really a technical reason. Sometimes I just think, I'm in a real blue mood and I like the way the French ultramarine looks. There's tiny subtle differences, but really it's down to you. Don't worry too much about following exactly what I do. Also, my Payne's grey is much bluer than a lot of people's, I know. So I'm just going to, in one swoop, pop that in there. I really don't want to do any more brush strokes on that because you can already see the red slightly being picked up there. And then one down this side as well. And it just makes such a difference. I love it. And we are also going to mix up, get my large brush for mixing. I'm going to get some red here and just pop a little bit of Alizarin Crimson. So I'm making just a slightly deeper red because I want to do a similar thing to my candy cane here as I did on the bow. Now I have to be careful, I need to wait for that to dry 100% before I put this extra bit of red on, because I don't want the red to then bleed and ruin the candy cane. So we'll give it one more minute. And there we have our candy cane with a bow. I hope you enjoyed that one, and I'll see you tomorrow.